All right, folks, good morning. Okay, let's get started here. I'm having an issue with the chat, so apologize for that. Not sure if I'll be able to fix it, but let's see. Um, yeah, I won't be, I don't think I'll be able to chat. I think I can see your chat, but I won't be able to type anything in. So let's just go ahead and get started. So also, there was an error in the publication of the live feed for today. Anyway, let's get started. So for today, Wednesday the 7th, this is a big day. At 2 o'clock Eastern, we're going to have the federal funds rate. This is where the FOMC will decide what the interest rates will be. Expectation is that interest rates will be unchanged at 4.5%. Then you'll have the FOMC statement at 2 o'clock Eastern as well. Then at 2:30 Eastern, we'll have the FOMC press conference. And then at 3 p.m., we'll have consumer credit. Now, this means basically from 2 p.m. Eastern onwards, you should not be trading at all. Uh, and I will firmly advise everyone in the program not to trade after 2 o'clock, from 2 o'clock Eastern onwards, because most likely you'll lose money if you do. Okay, so let's move on to what's happening here in the overall market. All right, here we are. The QQQ ETF was mostly neutral yesterday. It had moved down. Okay, so we did gap down and closed about where it started to trade in the pre-market. So we did recover some ground, but not a lot. We were able to trade up to fill the gap, but then it fell apart. Then we had some post-market news, I believe, regarding Chinese conversations about trade. But other than that, right now we're going to open slightly higher than where we closed yesterday. But remember, we're still below where we were a couple of days ago. And if we look at the full context of where we are, you can clearly see that we're right now trading in the middle of the recent trading range that we've seen since April the 30th. And if we look farther out, we can see that we're also trading in the middle of the range that we've been in since basically the beginning of the year. Okay, and actually going back to the middle of last year. So we basically haven't moved very far on the markets for this year. And of course, we're lower than the highs that we saw this year. Now, as far as stocks moving yesterday, we did find Starbucks. Now, for Starbucks, although it did eventually reach the target price, I decided to exit at break even very early because of a change that I saw in the trading metrics on Bookmap. But nevertheless, the stock did actually go up eventually to target number two to the upside. Although realistically, any person that stayed in that trade should have gotten out roughly right here, um, which would have been around 82.98 at the latest. So that's all. It would have worked out. Some people could have held, and if you did hold, that's perfectly okay. I decided to take the exit simply because of what I saw on Bookmap. Having said that, let's take a look at what's moving in the pre-market. All right, so remember, I can't type in the chat. Something's wrong with the YouTube feed, so I'll have to figure that out later. All right, here are the stocks that we can take a look at here in the pre-market that I've found so far. AVDX, currently up 18% on 22 million shares. It is at least $1 per share. So we will go ahead and add that to our pre-market watch list. That is AVDX. Next up, hold on for 1 second. Sorry, 1 second here. Next up is looks like might be FRGT. Let's take a look at that. That's only up 2.17%, so that's not enough. So we will skip that. Um, Sorry, 1 second here again. All right. Next up is MEGL. That is presently up 45% on 18 million shares, at least $1 per share. So we'll add that. MEGL. Next up is MLGO, microalgo. That's currently up 12%, 11 million shares, at least $1 per share. So we'll add microalgo MLGO to our list. Next up is NBIS, which is presently up 8.67% on 1.5 million shares, and it's at least $1 per share. So we will add NBIS to the list. Next up is NCEW. That is currently up about 54% on 24.4 million shares, is at least $1 per share. So we'll go ahead and add that NCEW to the list. Next up is let me see how much NVIDIA has changed today. Only 0.3%, so not even really any change. All right, next up is PHIO. That is presently up about 2%, so not enough of a movement. It was moving more earlier, but not now, so we'll skip that one. Palantir looks like it's about where it was the other day. Next up is SMCI. Actually, let me check Palantir one more time. No, SMCI. Or that's currently down 6.44% on 2 million shares after earnings. Of course, it's above $1 per share, so we'll add that. Those earnings, by the way, that probably is the result of the earnings report. I guess shouldn't be that surprising when we have that news that they might not be able to get their chips from NVIDIA. So that one looks like that was more or less expected. TOVX, oops, sorry, that's the wrong one. That's NYSE stock. Never mind. And that's that. Now, I'll just note for the since you are able to trade New York stocks, Uber had earnings and they dropped sharply on earnings. So not terrible, but they're down. So just making a note of that. That's not a one that we're going to be tracking since we look for NASDAQ. But duly noted either way. Okay. All right. So if you folks see any other stocks that meet all four of our criteria, other than the ones I already mentioned, let me know in the chat. I won't be able to put those into the chat, okay, because I can't type, but I can see your chat. So Marvel is mentioned, MRVL. That is presently down 8.23% on 1.9 million shares. And of course, it's at least $1 per share. Marvel stock drops. What's hurting the former AI chip favorite? Marvel Technology was falling early on Wednesday after the company postponed its investor day in the face of market uncertainty. It's another blow for a stock which has lost its value as a favorite play in the artificial intelligence trend. Yep. Well, that definitely is not good for them. MRVL. All right, next up is ASST. That's really moving. Great find there, by the way, Jen. 196% plus, up 52 million shares plus, at least $1 per share on an obvious active trend up. And let's see what the news is there. ASST. management to combine with asset entities to form first publicly traded asset management Bitcoin treasury company. That's a mouthful. To form the first publicly traded asset management Bitcoin treasury company. To combine, let's see, let me just read the details. The company aims to maximize Bitcoin exposure per share over the long run, including through novel financial strategies not previously used by other Bitcoin treasury companies to maximize value accretion for common equity shareholders. Okay, interesting. Okay, so ASST is now added. Okay. All right, so that's all we got, it looks like. So folks, please be sure to like the video. I see we have 7 likes, more than 7 people watching. So please be sure to hit the like button. That greatly helps us with the YouTube algorithm. Also, please be sure to subscribe to the channel so you get notifications when we produce a new video, as we're now getting close to, well, we're moving towards 5,000 subscribers. So let's keep going. And if anyone's watching this video on a replay and you're not familiar with our company, check out fundertrading.com, our website. You'll see a link in the description to this video. Other than that, for everyone who's part of the coaching program, I'll see you there in about 15 minutes, actually more like 16 minutes. We'll pick up for today's session. Other than that, folks, sorry again for the late publication of the live feed, but obviously you guys made it. So I'll see you for tomorrow's Premarket Pulse. Have a great rest of your trading day and take care.